When I first started out as a gardener, I loved the idea of sowing seeds and nurturing my own little patch of earth. I took care of the lawn, I watered the plants, but in those early days, none of my plants were with me for long. Part of my problem was that I didn't actually know anything about gardening, but the other part of my problem was that I didn't have the right tools. And that's my seamless segue into today's episode. I'm going to give you a list of the top 10 tools you need to make your garden grow. I've learnt the hard way that cheap, nasty cutting tools tend to blunt quickly and they rarely cut cleanly, which can damage your plants. You'll end up having to replace the cheap tools frequently, and that goes into landfill, which obviously is not good for your carbon footprint karma either. So here we go. Here's my wish list for your sustainable garden shed. Firstly, garden gloves. Look for good quality, tight fit. They'll keep your hands safe from the risk of spider bites, cuts and worse, premature drying and aging of the skin. Next, we have a look at secateurs. Secateurs are essential for pruning and harvesting fruits, flowers and some veggies. Look for handles that have rubber shock absorbers and cushions to protect the wrist. This pair has a toothed centre nut for aligning the cutting and anvil blades for a clean, accurate cut. Make sure they're the correct size for your hand, and there are special secateurs available on the market for left-handed people. For pruning jobs that are too tough for secateurs, use a pruning saw. Remember to keep the blades clean and sharp to prevent any damage to your plants. Next, we'll have a look at the garden fork. I love my garden fork. I use it to turn and break up clumps of soil and also to aerate compost. Now, look for one with tines drawn from a single piece of carbon steel and the shafts made from hardwood. I find the D-shaped handles like this one are generally the most comfortable. Now we'll have a look at two of my other favourites, shovel and spade. They look similar, but a shovel has a scooped blade, which helps you move garden materials, and a spade is for straight up digging and cutting. When you're choosing a shovel, choose the right size for you. This also means selecting the right handle length, based on your height. It's good if it's wood, it's a little bit more durable, and I prefer a D-type hilt or handle. Now, with our spade, I found that the carbon steel blade is the best all-round blade. The important thing to do is look after your spade by beveling the back edge off, either using a bench grinder or a sharpening stone. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, and a diamond sharpening stone is definitely in my inner sanctum. I use mine to clean and sharpen my spades, shovels, loppers and secateurs. Now, one of my next favourite things is a hand trowel. It's good for small planting jobs, weeding, mixing and fertilising. Look for one that's comfortable with wooden handles that'll last longer and are a lot more durable. Now let's have a look at the rake. See if you can find a rake that's adjustable, because that will make a whole heap of jobs in the garden a lot easier. Finally, we move on to the pickmatic. Now, the poor old pick has a fair bit of bad press, generally because of how they're used in B-grade horror movies, but they really are your friends. They're fantastic in the garden for getting rid of tricky stumps and large roots. Because you can swing them over your head, they can be driven really deeply into the ground. The stout handle then provides the necessary leverage. Look after your tools and they'll be yours forever. You can pamper your timber handles by sanding them down to remove any splinters and then oiling them with a 50% mineral turpentine, 50% raw linseed oil. Do keep your tools out of the rain, but if they do get a bit of rust, you should be able to remove it by using some steel wool and oil. That's it for now, folks. Enjoy your tools, and for an expanded version of this list, head to sgaonline.org.au.